Hello everyone, welcome in free Advanced MS Excel course powered by www.bi-analytics.org. And today is a special case series summarizing market data with Excel functions. We had talked about analyzing data with pivot tables. We had talked about analyzing data, summarizing data with charts. And today we'll talk about Excel functions, most probably statistical Excel functions. So let's begin. First of all, we'll talk about summarizing data with histograms. Histograms tells us how many data points fall in various range of values. Several Excel functions including array functions such as the transpose and frequency functions can be used to create a histogram that automatically updates when new data is entered into a spreadsheet. So before going into how can we make a histogram, we'll talk about array function. Array functions are different from normal functions, and there are a couple of points to be considered when writing an array formula. First of all, we need to select the range of a cell that will be populated by the array function. So what does this mean is that if the array is of say 5 cells, we have to first select all the 5 cells in which the final answer will be populated. And secondly, after typing a formula, we have to press Control Shift Enter instead of just enter. What we have to press? Control Shift Enter. So this is a different way of entering an array formula. Because the frequency function is a rather difficult array function, let's begin with a discussion of simpler array function, that is transpose function. Let me open the Excel file for you. Here is the Excel file. So see, I have this data, I have some names of my students and I want to transpose them. I can always do it with Control C copy, right click copy, which is visible for you, and now I can just right click and say paste special, and I can click on select on transpose button. It will do the transpose for us. Fine, but there is a problem. If I change this name from Pratika to Riya, the transpose will not change. We have to again do the transpose. So now we'll apply a formula. Let's see. So answer will come in how many cells? 4 cells. So just see this carefully. So we'll select first 4 cells. Then we'll write is equals to transpose transpose, bracket open. Now we'll select this data. Fine. We'll say bracket close. Now we don't have to press enter, we have to press Control Shift Enter like this, and see, we have now available data has been transposed. So now if I change this name Riya back to Pratika, see, it will change. So this is the linked formula now. So you see a curly braces at the end of this, and this is called a fine. Okay. So this was about array formulas. Then we talked about transpose function. Now we'll talk about frequency function. So frequency function will give you the number of items in a particular range. The formula is frequency, data array, and bin range. These are the things we have to calculate. Other formulas are max, which will give you the max value. Min is the which will give you a min value. So let's talk about frequency function and then we'll make a histogram. So back to Excel. Yes, here it is. So now let me go into another sheet. I would like to tell you one thing. Make sure you have to do practice with yourself. Download the data file from the website bi-analytics.org and please do this with your hands. Once done by hand, you will always remember it. Fine. So let's start. Look, this is the data. We have these dates available. We have say around 1097 row data, and what we need to do is there are the sales of cakes on a daily basis. Say 79 cakes were sold, then 91 were sold, 47 were sold, 89 were sold. So this is the data we have. Now what we want to do is we need to make a bins and we have to make a frequency. So first of all, what we do is let's make this data a table. We all know how to make a table. Control T, right? So I'll press Control T. My head table has a header. Okay. So this has converted into table. The name is table 1. You can also change the name if wanted. Fine. Now we need to have the minimum value first of all. Let's see what is the minimum number of cakes were sold. So is equals to mi and min, bracket open, and now I select this data like this and I press enter. So I get the value that minimum was 32. Fine. So minimum is 32. Let's do the maximum. Is equals to max max, bracket open, and again selecting the data with control shift enter. Fine. So here comes 165. So we come to know that minimum number of cakes sold was 32 and maximum was 165. So now we need to make some bins. So what we can do is, first of all, we can say 0 to 30. We can make bins like 0 to 30, then 50, 70, 90 like this. So we can have 30, 50, 70, and we can have it till 170. 170. And we can say greater than 170. This can be written like this also. Fine. So these are my bins. Now I want to apply a frequency formula into this. Now frequency formula is a array formula, remember? So the answer will come in entire these cells. So first we will select all these cells. Now I will write is equals to frequency, frequency, bracket open. Now it says data array. So my data is in this cell. Fine. So this is my data array. Now I say comma. Now bin array. Bin array is this one. Bin array. Fine. Bracket close. Now you have to press control shift enter. Here comes the answer. So we say below 30 there are 0 number of cakes. 30 to 50 there are 27. 70, 50 to 70, 207. So like this we have a data. So this is where we can create the frequency of the available data with us. Fine. This has been done. Now let's talk about developing a histogram with this. How can we do this? Let's select this data. Now go into insert chart and let's take this column chart. Column chart. So this is the column chart available with me now. Fine. Now when this is a column chart, what I need to do is I can just select it and say format data series, and in this I can say gap width to 0%. 0%. Let's see. So this becomes a histogram like this. Fine. So we are able to make a histogram. Hope you have enjoyed it and you liked it. If you have any questions, please feel to write in the comment or on the website tutorial link. Let's move ahead. So this was the tutorial. This was the practice we have done for histogram. Let's move ahead. Now when we talk about histogram, there are things like skewness and histogram shapes. That is very important to understand. Look, skewness and histogram shapes is like there can be symmetrically skewed. If you see this data, this is symmetrically skewed. The mean, the maximum value is in between and the data reduces at both the sides. This is a symmetric value. Fine. When we talk about positively skewed, which has greater than +1 value, this is called a positively skewed pattern. Fine. So this is positively skewed in which maximum, the peak is at the left side. Then this is called positively skewed data. And when you talk about negatively skewed data, the peak is on the right side. So this is negatively skewed. Fine. So there are 3 types of skewness: symmetric, positive and negative. So if you want to know what type of data it is, you can use the formula is equals to skew. If it is symmetric, it will come -1 to +1. If it is positive skew, it will come greater than +1, and negatively it will come less than 1, -1. Got it? Repeating again. Symmetric -1 to +1, positively greater than +1, negatively less than -1. So now this skewness helps you to understand what type of measurements or what type of data points we should consider. I will talk this in later, but let's calculate skew of our data. Let's check. Let's walk into our Excel cell and say I need to measure skewness. So I can write a formula. Skewness, let it be, is equals to SKEW, skew, bracket open, and I just select the data, bracket close, enter. So here comes this. Skew is 0.42. So it is between -1 to +1. So we can say that it is already symmetrically skewed. We can see this data. Fine. So if it is less than -1, it will be negatively skewed. If it is greater than +1, it will be positively skewed. Fine. So we need to understand that when we have to using statistical function to summarize the data, there are 2 points to be considered. Typical value of our data, that is maybe a mean, mod, median, and spread or variation about typical value. These are the things to consider. What? Typical value of a data, spread or variation about the data. There are 2 points. So when we talk about typical value of data, it can be mean, that is average value. Second is median, which is the middle value. Half of the data above the median and half of the below median. That is called a median value. And third is mode, which is most frequently occurring data. Say there are, I sell caps, small, medium and large size. And generally most of the day its medium size cap has been sold. The mode is M size. Fine. Then these are the 3 numbers which talks about typical value of a data, mean, median, mode. Then to understand the spread of the data, we have to use variance and standard deviation, which tells you exactly the entire region spread. Say mean is 50 and what can be the other values? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 or 0, 5, 10, 20 like this. So spread and variance is like it gives you spread. Fine. So what I said, typical value of our data, and second is spread or variation about typical. So these are 5 things we can consider. First is mean, median, mode, and variance and standard. It's fine. So let's calculate all these things. And large and small is like third largest, fourth largest, fifth largest. We can also calculate these things. Fine. So let's do this. So this is our data, and now let's calculate first of all mean of this thing. So what I'll do is I'll insert a couple of rows at the top. That will be quite easy. I can always press F4. Whenever we need to repeat the cell, we can press F4. The same process is repeated. Fine. So let's talk. First of all, calculate mean. Then we'll calculate median. Then we'll calculate mode. Then we'll calculate standard deviation. And we'll also calculate, say, we'll also calculate, say, fifth largest value and third smallest value in our data. So these 5 things we'll learn. First of all is mean. Mean is calculated with the formula average. Average, bracket open, and now I'll select the data. So here comes the average is like 86.2. So it's telling that on an average, if you talk about mean, total number of cakes divided by number of days, sum of total number of cakes divided by number. So this is like almost 86 to 87 cakes have been sold on a daily basis. We can say like this. Now let's talk about median. The simple formula MED, median, bracket open, again the same thing, and this will give you the median. So we got 85 as a median, which means if I lay all the numbers in ascending order, the middle term will come as 85. Fine. Now mode, the most frequent data, let's talk about this, is equals to MODE, mode, bracket open. So we come to that 90 is the maximum number. Like most occurring data is 90 in this thing. Fine. Now let's talk about standard deviation. So there is a standard deviation formula. Which can be used. Fine. So it says 20.27 is the standard deviation, which is the variance we talked about. There are rules like 1 sigma, 3 sigma, 6 sigma. So not going into this, but yes, when we talk about descriptive statistics, you need to know mean, median, mode, and the standard deviation. I will talk about which is better to use, when to use mean, when to use mode. But let's do two more things. You talk about fifth largest. So I say is equals to LARGE large, bracket open, and I say array and fifth. So I'll select again the data, and this time I say comma 5. When I do this, you will come to know that the fifth largest is 148. Fine. So this is the way we can calculate the fifth largest value in the system. Same way we can do third smallest is equals to small, bracket open, again selecting the data, comma, and number 3. This will give the third largest value is 38. Third smallest value is 38. So this is how we have calculated the descriptive stats of the system. Now when we talk about which data to use, look, I told you that typical value of a set and spread variation. Fine. So which is better? Although there is no single best answer to this question, there are few rules of the thumb that summarize here. If a skew status is greater than 1 or less than 1, substantial skewness exists and you should use median as a measured value. Means if the data is not symmetric, say the peak is at the left side or peak is at the right side, it is better to choose the middle value instead of the mean average value. So median at that point may be a better option. But if the skew is symmetrical, mean will be a better option. Fine. And when can be a mode be a better option? Say I sell I sell caps, and I have cap with size of S, M or L, and I see that most probably it's mode. It's generally people always purchase a cap of size medium, M. So at that point mode will be important. If I have to purchase only one type of size, which should I purchase? At that point you will think of mode. Fine. So mean, mod, median. If you have a specific question to ask, you can ask in the comment. But here the idea is how to calculate that. So that's the simple formulas we can do it. Fine. Let's move ahead. Other than that, we talked about histogram, we talked about description statistics in the formula. Now there are formulas like countif, countifs, count, average if, sum ifs. We have done this detailed in tutorial number 13 and 14. So if you want to talk about this thing, you can specifically open these tutorials and you will find a detailed description. We have done step by step lots of exercise on this. Fine. So this is also a way of calculating. So you can say you have dates available and you have days available, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you want to count on Sunday what is the average of the cakes. So count if based on the day of Sunday, based on the value of Sunday, you want to evaluate the average, mean, median, mode. This can also be done. Fine. Let's move ahead. Now this is something we'll talk about. We have not talked till now in our course tutorial. Subtotals. Subtotals are a very good thing. It is a specific talk when it will give you a subtotal. Subtotal means category wise totals will be provided to you, and this is very good. But the only concern is that if new data is added, subtotals are difficult to update. So this is something important to understand. The subtotals are difficult to update with new data. But yes, how we can do with subtotal? Let's walk into exercise and let's do it directly on a live. Let's move. So I have a data. This is the data, and yes. So look, I have now a bakery data in which I have various products. Like I have dates, cakes, peas, cookies, coffee, and this is promotion or non-promotion. Fine. So if promotion it is there, then it will be written promotion, else it will be written none. Okay. So this is important thing to consider. Now what I'll do is, we have this data. First of all, we need to sort this data. How to sort is, click anywhere in the data and go into data and click the sort button. Sort has to be done like this, like you have to sort by day of the week, and in custom order I have given Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you talk about custom list, let's sort based on this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, like this. Fine. Okay. And same way you can then sort by promotion. So I have done two types of sorting into this data. So data has been sorted like Sunday, none promotion. Now if you go down, here it is Sunday promotion. Fine. Now you see Sunday promotion. Now it will come Monday none. Here comes. So now Monday none, then Monday promotion, like this. So this is how the data has been sorted. We need to sort the data. Based on that only it can categorize for us. Fine. So now after clicking on this, let's go into our data tab. And you have subtotals available here. You can see subtotals. Let's click on subtotals. So now when you click on subtotals, you have to select various options. So what I do is I select as each changes, like as the day of the week changes, I have to create a, and I need to do an average. What I want to calculate? I want to calculate the average based on the subtotals. Fine. Now add subtotals to. So I will select all the products, cakes, cookies, coffees, and fine. So these are the products that I'll be subtotaling. Fine. Replace current subtotals, summary below data. Now I click on OK. So when I do it like this, so I have a data available, and if you see third number to first, so it has done the subtotal for us. Let me go again. Now first of all, what I want to do is I want to again subtotal it based on the promotions also. First I have done the subtotal based on day week. Fine. Now let's click again on the subtotal section, and now this time I say I want to based on promotions, the same thing. Fine. And this time I will not replace the current subset. I don't want to replace it. I want to keep it. I say OK. So look now this is an interesting thing. If you open this 4, 3, so now you have a Sunday average based on non-promotion and promotion also. So subcategory, because we have categorized twice. First of all based on days, and now based on promotions. Now if I go to higher level, second, you can see that this is the without promotion now. This is total showing. It is not considering the category like this. So see, as soon as we go higher, one number, our aggregation will be at the top level. So if I click on 1, this is the toppest level. It is giving you the grand total, grand average. Now if I go into second level, you have this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, third level. Fine. So this is third. You can also drag like this and open these buttons to see how the data is going on. Fine. So this is a way of expanding the data. Now if you go to third number, you have this data based on Sunday average. Now Sunday average is divided into 1. Promotion and no promotions. So this has been divided like this. And fourth one is our original data. So this is how the subtotals have been calculated. Hope you like these calculations. This is very quite interesting way of watching the data. Fine. So, and if you want to remove this data subtotal, what you can do is go in the fourth panel, click here. Now again click on subtotal. And when you click on subtotal, you can say remove all. Once you do remove all subtotals will be removed. Fine. Let me show you. I click on remove all and see all my data has removed the subtotal. If you go again and click on subtotal, suppose like this, and I say OK. Instead of promotion, I'm doing right now Devi. OK. So if I've done like this again, now there's no category for promotions, only weekdays. So look, these are called the outlines in the terminology term. And this is quite interesting way of watching. You need to practice it couple of times to make it hands-on exercise for you. Fine. So this was about subtotals. So what we talked first of all about frequency function. First I told you about transpose, that this is an array function. Then we talked about frequency function. We made histograms. We talked about descriptive statistics. How can you apply mean, mode, median, standard deviation, and variance. There are two things that you can do. Variance is done by VAR formula. Then we talked about COUNTIF Some if average ifs can also be used, which we did not talk in this tutorial, but yes, these are also a method of using Excel functions to describe the data. And yes, then at the end we talked about subtotals. Fine. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask to me on the website bi-analytics.org. You can also ask in this video tutorial by commenting on this. But what I would suggest is, please make sure to download the data file, because downloading data file is important and practice is very important. Once you do with hands, you will be able to understand how to apply the formula, when to apply. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.